Underwater is a movie that takes us to the depths of the ocean, where a group of researchers and engineers from Titan Industries find themselves fighting for their lives after a catastrophic event destroys their underwater drilling station, Kepler 822. Let's dive into the detailed narrative of the film, exploring the characters, their struggles, and the lurking horrors of the deep. The story begins at Kepler 822, a research and drilling facility owned by the enigmatic Titan Industries' Nora Price. A mechanical engineer portrayed by Kristen Stewart starts a day with an ordinary routine. However, her morning takes a terrifying turn when the facility experiences a sudden and violent pressure breach. Lights flicker and water begins to seep through the walls, signaling imminent disaster. Nora rushes down the hallway, urging her colleagues to reach the bulkhead for safety. Only Rodrigo Nagenda, a fellow crew member, joins her in this desperate escape. When they reach the bulkhead, they intend to seal it and prevent further destruction, but the station's computer doesn't respond. Nora, displaying tremendous courage under pressure, manually initiates the process as the station's integrity crumbles. Despite their efforts, they can't wait for two more crew members who are racing towards them. The bulkhead doors close, sealing the fate of unfortunate souls left behind. The explosion of the compromised area briefly incapacitates Nora and Rodrigo, and when they regain consciousness, they hear the emergency recording announcing that the station is 70% compromised. Rodrigo initially believes it's an earthquake that caused the disaster, but eerie mysteries noises from outside hint at something more sinister. Nora's attempts to establish contact with the surface go unanswered. Realizing that their only chance of survival is to find the escape pods, Nora and Rodrigo set out on a perilous journey through the damaged station. Their path is fraught with danger due to internal explosions and debris. Along the way, they stumble upon Paul Abel, a crew member with a peculiar attachment to a plush bunny. He joins them after recovering his cherished toy. The three crawl through tight, hazardous spaces, navigating the wreckage of their once functional station and making their way to the pod bay. Captain Lucian, the station's leader, had chosen to remain behind while the others evacuated. Unfortunately, all escape pods have already been deployed, leaving Nora, Rodrigo, and Paul in a dire predicament. The situation grows graver when they realize that the stored energy within the station, with no outlet, could trigger a catastrophic meltdown at any moment. With no means of contacting the surface, Lucian proposes a risky plan. Make a hazardous 2-mile trek across the ocean floor to reach Roebuck 641, another facility. Reluctantly, the crew accepts his plan despite knowing the dangers that lie outside. They put on pressurized suits and prepare to face the unknown. While inside the Roebuck, they discover a distressing audio recording from the drill site where the crew members appear to be under attack. The abnormal temperature increase outside puzzles them since water isn't known to heat up so drastically. Their options are limited, and reluctantly they accept their fate and set off towards the Roebuck. Donning their suits, the crew members are ready to venture into the abyss. Emily and Liam, the station's biologist and engineer, reveal they are secretly in love. They explain their effort to contact Titan's control base on the surface and the discovery of a distressing audio SOS file. The file contains the horrifying sounds of crew members being attacked, sending shivers down everyone's spines. As a journey across the desolate ocean floor, they encounter their first creature, a bizarre, eyeless specimen. Uncertainty clouds their minds as they debate whether it's an adult or an infant. Terrifyingly, thumping noises outside confirm that the creature has parents nearby and they are not pleased. Their path becomes even more perilous when the Kepler station explodes from above, sending debris crashing down. Humanoid creatures observe them from a distance, clearly angered by the loss of their young. The creature's existence is hinted at through a mural in the station, depicting a deep-side diver being dragged into the abyss by humanoid beings. This indicates that the crew had seen or heard enough about these creatures to develop an in-house mythology. The crew's numbers diminish and their journey grows more desperate. Liam is pulled away by a creature into a cave connected to the abandoned Shepherd station. Lucian and Nora rescue him, but a terrible fate awaits them. A creature drags Lucian and Nora into the depths, forcing Lucian to make a harrowing sacrifice. The captain unhooked his suit from Nora's, allowing her to escape as he descended to his doom. Nora finds herself on a floating platform, alone and mourning the loss of her captain. She explores the abandoned Shepherd station, eventually changing into dry clothes. As she tries to contact Emily through a computer, her attention shifts to a map of the drilling site in Lucian's old locker. Determined to survive, Nora dons another suit and acquires a flare gun before venturing out onto the ocean floor once again, with her sights set on reaching the Roebuck as originally planned. She follows markers on her journey, guided by a glimmer of hope. Suddenly, she hears Emily's voice, prompting her to rush forward. However, Emily mistakes Nora for one of the creatures and flees. A tense encounter ensues, but Nora manages to reassure Emily, congratulating her on surviving. Together, they drag Liam across the ocean floor, exchanging stories along the way. Nora opens up about her fiancé's mysterious disappearance during a solo diving mission and the feelings of powerless that haunt her. She admires Emily and Liam's companionship in the face of adversity. Their arduous journey finally leads them to the Radiant Roebuck station. However, they are met with an unsettling sight, a nest of creatures hanging from the ceiling, seemingly asleep or hibernating. With their suit lights off, Nora and Emily attempt to sneak past, but a crisis arises when Emily's oxygen alarm rings. A creature awakens and seizes Nora, prompting Emily to flee into a pod. The creature consumes Nora whole. Inside the creature's abdomen, Nora desperately shoots her flare gun from within her suit, freeing herself. Suddenly, the creatures begin to rise, lifted by an immense and menacing presence. Nora gazes in horror as Cthulhu, the ancient entity of Lovecraftian lore, approaches. Running for her life, Nora is pursued by the colossal Cthulhu, but she manages to escape and takes shelter inside the Roebuck station. Her respite is short-lived as her suit begins to fail. She races away and finds a door that leads her to the abandoned Shepherd station. Fortunately, Nora is saved by Emily, who removes Nora's damaged helmet, allowing her to breathe again. With Liam by their side, they continue their desperate journey through the station, racing against time and the relentless pursuit of the creatures. They run through the hallway till they find the control room. They see Cthulhu and the others through the window. Nora checks the station map on the computer and then sends Emily and Liam to the pod bay. They manage to find their way through a series of obstacles and reach 3 pods, but Nora finds that one of them is damaged, but she doesn't let the others know. They send Liam out first, but Emily finds out that the damaged pod after and refuses to leave Nora behind. But since time was running out, Nora punches Emily and pushes her into the pod, sending her to safety. It was a heartbreaking decision, but Nora did it to ensure at least one of them survived. As Emily's pod launched away, Nora was left behind, knowing she might not make it alive. But it did not faze her, because she was at peace with the fact that she was going to die. She's even glad that she gets to feel in control of her life after losing a better half. She was ready to sacrifice herself so that Emily and Liam could live together. In their final moments, Nora realizes that the creatures are closing in on the escape pods. Determined to take control of her destiny, she formulates a daring plan. Drawing from Emily's insight about the accumulated energy within the station, Nora initiates a catastrophic overload of the Roebuck's nuclear core. The resulting explosion engulfs the station, obliterating Cthulhu, its offspring, and herself. As the fiery destruction unfolds, the escape pods containing Emily and Liam are safely launched, heading for the surface. However, one question remains: is Cthulhu really destroyed, or is it coming back? The movie concludes with news articles and reports that reveal the classified nature of the incident. All surveillance footage has been destroyed, and Tian Industrial rejects government assistance in the investigation. Corporation remains committed to rebuilding and continuing its deep-sea drilling operations, leaving the mysteries of the abyss buried beneath the waves. Underwater takes its audience on a suspenseful and thrilling journey into the unknown, exploring themes of survival, sacrifice, and the incomprehensible horrors of the deep ocean. In the end, it leaves viewers with lingering questions about the true nature of the abyss and the ancient entities that dwell within its depths. That's it for today's recap of the serious underrated movie, Underwater. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of the movie. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon. Thanks for watching. Bye!